Assalamu alaikum. Hope you are fine. This is our first class and first lesson. Now let's start. The name of the lesson is The Lost Lesson. It is written by Alphonse Daudet. Let me give you a brief introduction about the writer, about the author, Alphonse Daudet. He was born in 1840 and died in 1897. Alphonse Daudet was a French novelist and short story writer. The Lost Lesson is set in the days of the Franco-Prussian War, in which France was defeated by Prussia led by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. In this story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. Read the story to find out what effect this had on life at school. This was about the author. It is page 1. It's page 2 of the book. It's page 2 of the book. So now let us start. Let me tell you in brief the summary of this lesson titled as The Lost Lesson. Summary, इसको हम ब्रीफ में समरी बताएंगे आपको ताकि आपके पास एक पिक्चर सामने आएगी. The story is narrated by a French boy, Franz. Actually, the main character in this story is Franz. Franz is lazy but sensitive and likes to play. He is a student. Franz is main character of this story. He is lazy, he is a student but sensitive and likes to play. He dislikes studying French and hates his teacher, Mr. Hamel. Another character here is Mr. Hamel. So Franz is very much sensitive, but he likes play. He is lazy, and he hates his teacher, Mr. Hamel. Mr. Hamel is a teacher, another character in this story. After overpowering their districts of Alsace and Lorraine in France, Berlin has ordered that German language instead of French be taught in the schools there. जब बर्लिन ने इस पे कब्ज़ा कर लिया, अपना पावर जमा दिया, और उसके बाद उसके जो दो डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं एल्सेस एंड लॉरेन, उनमें ये ऑर्डर किया गया कि that German language instead of French be taught in the schools there. German language schools में पढ़ा दिया जाए instead of French. French उनकी mother language थी. It is the last day of their French teacher, Mr. Hamel, who has been there for 40 years. He is full of grief. As a mark of respect to his hard work, the village man also attended his last lesson. They are sad as they did not learn their mother language, French in their childhood. वो बड़े जो गाँव वाले थे तो उस स्कूल के इर्द गिर्द वो बड़े ही मायूस थे क्योंकि उन्होंने अपनी जो भाषा है, मदर लैंग्वेज है, वो नहीं सीख पाई. सो इस वजह से वो आज बड़े परेशान हैं और उन्हें इस टीचर के एजाज़ में उस टीचर के लास्ट लेसन में अटेंड किया. फॉर द रेस्पेक्ट ऑफ द टीचर दे अटेंडेड द लास्ट lesson of the class. Franz is shocked to know that it is his last lesson as he does not know He does not know French. Now suddenly he gets interested in learning it and understands everything taught on that day. He develops an instant liking for the teacher. अब वो टीचर के लिए उसका एक मोहब्बत जाग गया and respects him for his sincerity and hard work. He feels sad at departing from him and is ashamed for not being able to recite the lessons of Portsville's. So, Mr. Hamilton tells them that they are all at fault for not being eager enough to learn, putting it off to the next day. He blames himself. This teacher also blames himself for not teaching them sincerely. टीचर को भी बड़ा अफसोस हुआ, उस अपने आप को वो ब्लेम करता है कि उसने ठीक तरह से उनको नहीं पढ़ाया ताकि वो अपनी इस मदर भाषा को, मदर लैंग्वेज को सीख सकें। उसके लिए भी ये एक परेशानी बन गई, उसके जहन में ये एक खलिश पैदा हो गई। His patriotism is reflected in his praise for the French language as being the most beautiful and most logical language in the world. He tells the class to guard their language as being close to one's language is the like to escape from the prison of slavery. It will help them in getting from the Germans. They realize the importance, these students, including friends and the villagers, they realize the importance of learning their mother tongue and that they have been defeated by the Germans because of their illiteracy. Hence feels that it's not possible to take away one's language from a person as it is natural to teach being. Maybe it be coup to the pigeons or French to the Frenchman. This was the summary of the lost lesson titled Lost Lesson. Now let us start from the first para. अब हमने ये अंडरस्टैंड किया यहाँ पे जो दो मेन कैरेक्टर्स हैं, एक तो स्टूडेंट है दैट इज़ फ्रेंड्स एंड द सेकंड कैरेक्टर जो इसमें है दैट इज़ टीचर दैट इज़ नेमली एज मिस्टर हैमिल। और फिर कैसे स्टार्ट हो गई ये कहानी आप हम स्टार्ट करेंगे, आप सुनिए, अंडरस्टैंड कीजिए। दिस इज़ पेज नंबर 2 of the book Flamingo. Now let's start. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of scolding, especially because Mr. Hamill had said that he would question us on Portspulus, and I do not know the first word about them. I started for school very late that morning. उस दिन मैंने स्टार्ट किया स्कूल। किस दिन? जिस दिन हमें पूरी क्लास को, अपनी टीचर को वो क्वेश्चन सुनाने थे जो वो करेगा, जो वो he would question, he would pose on us on that day regarding the Potts Palace. I started for school very late that morning. उस सुबह मैंने बहुत ही देर से स्कूल जाने के लिए तैयारी की and was in great fear of scolding. और मैं बड़े ही I was in great dread, I was in great fear, बड़ा ही डर था मुझे of scolding. That means I will be rebuked by my teacher, especially Mr. Hamill had said that he would question on Potts Palace. Especially Mr. Hamill से क्योंकि उसने हमें ये कहा था कि मैं टीचर स्टूडेंट्स को यानी फ्रेंड्स को या और दूसरे जो स्टूडेंट्स उनको क्वेश्चन करेगा ऑन द Potts Palace. But I did not know the first word about them. And these are actually the words of Mr. Friends. वो कहता है कि I do not know about the first word about them. मैं इन क्वेश्चंस के बारे, इन पार्टिसिपल्स के बारे में एक लफ्ज़ भी नहीं जानता हूँ. So for a moment I thought of running away and spending the whole day out of the doors. कुछ लम्हा के लिए मैंने सोचा that I should move out of the school and spend the whole school so upon the and spent the whole day out of the doors. और मैंने ये सोचा कि कुछ लम्हा के लिए मैंने सोचा कि मैं स्कूल से भाग जाऊं और ये पूरा जो दिन है ये स्कूल से बाहर ही गुजार दूं, मगर it was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirping at the edges of the woods. It was so warm. गर्म था, अच्छा मौसम था. It was चमकदार मौसम था. So सूरज निकल आया था. The birds were chirping. ये जो birds वो चहचहा रही थे. They were chirping. They were making the beautiful sounds. These birds were chirping at the edges of the woods. They were making the they were sounding the beautiful sounds. So on the woods they were on the edges of the woods. जो दरख्त थे उनकी टहनी पे बैठ के ये बर्ड्स जो थे वो बड़े बहुत ही अच्छी किस्म की आवाज़ें निकालते थे. So these birds were chirping at the edges of the woods and in the open field back of the sawmill the Persian wars were drilling. और जो sawmill है, the sawmill means a factory for cutting woods. एक sawmill जो है it is a factory for cutting the woods. उसके पीछे जो Persian soldiers थे they were drilling, they were exercising. वो एक्सरसाइज कर रहे थे, वो ड्रिल कर रहे थे. It was all much more tempting than the rule for Pottsville's. So it was a beautiful scene. These Persian soldiers, they were drilling, they were exercising. So this scene was, it was most beautiful, it was more beautiful, it was much beautiful. It was attracting than the rules for the Pottsville's. Pottsville's उस्ताद को सुनाना फिर याद ना होना, उससे ये अच्छा सीन था कि मैं इस ड्रिल को देखूं. बट आई हैड द स्ट्रेंथ टू रेजिस्ट. लेकिन मुझ में स्ट्रेंथ थी बर्दाश्त करने की. दिल ने ये जवाब दिया कि आप जाओ और एक्सरसाइज को, लेकिन दिमाग ने ये सोचने पे ये और दिमाग इसने बड़ा ही रोल अदा किया और उसने मुझे स्ट्रेंथ दी इसको रेजिस्ट करने के लिए कि नहीं अपनी क्लास में जाओ. सो दैट इज़ आई हैड द स्ट्रेंथ टू रेजिस्ट. मेरे पास ये स्ट्रेंथ थी, मेरे पास ये ताकत थी टू रेजिस्ट, टू स्टे अवे फ्रॉम दिस exercise, from this attracting scene, and hurried up to the school, and I rushed towards the school. But I had the strength to resist. मुझ में ये ताकत था, मुझ में ये ताकत बर्दाश्त करने का था. I had the strength to stay away from this tempting scene, from this attracting scene, and I hurried towards my school, and I rushed towards my school to attend my classes. Even though I don't know even a single word about the participles, but still I have the resistance, I have the strength to attend my class. So I rushed towards my class. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. Bulletin board means a notice board for putting up the latest news and communication. That is called a bulletin board. When I passed the town hall, जब मैंने town hall को cross किया, when I crossed the town hall, that there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. और मैंने क्या देखा? I found that there was a crowd. There were so many people in front of the bulletin board. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. Bulletin board के सामने crowd थी. For the last 2 years, all our news had come from there. 2 साल पहले जो गुजर गए 2 साल, वहाँ 2 सालों में जो भी कोई न्यूज़ आई, कोई खबर आई, कोई इंफॉर्मेशन आई, तो वो कहाँ से आई? इसी न्यूज़ बोर्ड से. तो मैं हैरान हो गया. For the last 2 years, all our news had been come from there. लास्ट 2 साल से पहले 2 साल जो गुजरे 2 साल वहाँ से जो न्यूज़ आ रहे थे उसी बुलेटिन बोर्ड से आ रही थे. द लॉस्ट बैटल्स, द ड्रॉप्ड, कौन सी बैटल हार दी, या द ड्रॉप्ड द ऑर्डर्स ऑफ द कमांडिंग ऑफिसर, दैट वेर कमिंग फ्रॉम from that notice board, and I thought to go to myself without stopping, कुछ रुकने के बगैर ही मैं वहाँ ही चली जाऊँ. What can be the matter now? अब क्या होगा, कौन सा मामला होगा, अब नया क्या होगा, what would be the new news, what would be the new good news. Then as I hurried by fast I could go, as I hurried by as fast I could go, जितना मैं दूर, जितना मैं तेज़ चल सका उतना मैं चला और पहुंच गया वहाँ पे. द ब्लैक स्मिथ, वहाँ पे लोहार था, ब्लैक स्मिथ था. द वॉचर था, वॉचमैन था. हु आर देयर विथ अप्रेंटिस, दैट मीन्स जो उनके ट्रेनिज थे वो भी वहाँ पे थे. Reading the bulletin, they were reading the bulletin. So then I hurried as fast as I could, and what I saw, the blacksmith met me there, the watcher met me there, and there were already there trainees of these watcher blacksmith who were also there and who were reading the bulletin. Called me, called after me, उन्होंने मुझे पीछे से बोला, चिल्लाया मुझे, don't go so fast bub, Baby, a little boy. Bub means little boy. A little boy, bub. Baby, don't go so fast. इतना तेज दौड़ मत दौड़िए आप. You will get to your school in plenty of time. You will get to your school in plenty of time. आपके पास बहुत टाइम है अभी, क्योंकि आज और कुछ there is somewhat different in your school now. So आपके पास बहुत टाइम है, आप स्कूल ठीक तरह से पहुंच जाओगे. I thought he was making fun of me. ये फ्रेंड्स जो था, ही वॉज ए स्टूडेंट ऑफ दिस नेचर, उसने ये सोचा कि शायद मेरे साथ ये मजाक कर रहे हैं. आई थॉट ही वॉज मेकिंग फन फॉर मी एंड रीचड मिस्टर हैमिल्स लिटिल गार्डन ऑल ऑफ ब्रेथ एंड रीच इट, और पहुंच गया मिस्टर हैमिल्स लिटिल गार्डन, मिस्टर हैमिल के लिटिल गार्डन में, उस छोटे बाग में. ऑल आउट ऑफ सडन, बैटिंग दैट मीन्स आई वॉज ऑल ऑफ सडन, all out of breathing, that I was still, I was breathing quickly. So usually when school began there was great bustle which could be heard out in the street. Usually when school began, जब स्कूल शुरू हो गया, there was great bustle, वहाँ पे बहुत सा नॉइस था. Actually, bustle means a lot of noise created by many people. जब many people होते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं, और वहाँ पे जो noise होगी, that's called a great bustle. There was a great bustle. That means it was the noise created by so many people who were there, which could be heard out in the street. वो गली में भी सुना जा सकता है उसको, उस नॉइज़ को, उस आवाज़ को, उस शोर को गली में भी, स्ट्रीट में भी सुना जा सकता, which could be heard out in the street. So when the school began, there was a lot of noise which was created by the many people, and that noise could be heard out in the street. And that means in the opening and that closing of desks. Actually then this was noise was created by the opening and closing of the desks. Open desks को open करना, फिर close करना, lessons repeated in unison, तो lessons repeat करना at the same time. So there was also actually the noise which was created by the lessons repeated at the same time in the unison. That means in the same time जब बच्चे लेसन को याद करते हैं, वहाँ पे एक जो आवाज़ निकलती है, सो वो वहाँ पे वो वहाँ पे था, वो शोर भी वहाँ पे था. Very loud, with our hands, our ears to understand better, and the teacher's great rule rapping on the table. With our hands, our ears, हमारी जो हाथ थे वो that were in our, हमारे कानों पे थे, to understand better, ताकि हम ठीक तरह से understand करें. And the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table, and जो टीचर की जो रूलर थी, that was rapping on the table, that was striking on the table. But now it was all so still. अचानक खामोशी हो गई. I counted on the commotion. I had counted on the commotion. That means I had counted on the commotion. I got an opportunity. that I could easily slip into the desk without being noticed as there was lot of noise in the class. I had counted on the commotion. The explanation of this phrase is I had counted on the of these verses and I had counted on the commotion. That means now I understand that I could easily slip. I had counted on the commotion. That means I could slip easily into the desk without being noticed as there was a lot of noise in the class. I had that means I got an opportunity that I could get into the class and sit on my desk without being noticed anyone. So without noticing by my teacher, without noticing by someone else, so I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen. But of course that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. बट दैट डे एवरीथिंग हैड टू बी क्वाइट. हर एक चीज़ क्वाइट था. जिस तरह संडे मॉर्निंग होती है वहाँ पे कोई परेशानी घर में नहीं होती है, काम होता है, शांति से इंसान बैठा होता है घर में. सो तो वह कोई परेशानी नहीं होती है. उसी तरह जिस आज लगा मुझे कि शायद संडे मॉर्निंग है, थ्रू द विंडो आई सा माई क्लासमेट्स. मैंने अपने क्लासमेट्स को देखा खिड़की से. ऑलरेडी इन देयर प्लेसेस, वो अपनी जगहों पे बैठे थे. मैन मिस्टर हैमिल वॉकिंग अप एंड डाउन विद टेरिबल आयरन रोल अंडर हिज आर्म. और जो मिस्टर हैमिल था ही वॉज वॉकिंग अप एंड डाउन. वो इधर उधर घूमता था विद हिज टेरिबल, जो उसकी टेरिबल आयरन, वो फियरफुल आयरन रॉड थी, अंडर हिज आर्म. आई हैड ओपन द डोर एंड गो इन बिफोर एवरीबॉडी. मुझे दरवाज़ा खोलना था और हर एक के सामने मुझे क्लास में जाना था. So you can imagine how I blushed. Blushed means कितना मैं शर्मंदा हो गया. That means to become red in the face of because of shame. So I blushed. मैं कितना शर्मंदा हो गया. That means much I how much how much fearful I was because of the shame, because of the fear my face turned in color due to shame. And how frightened I was, because how I blushed, how much I was fearful, and then I became red in the face, red in color, because in the face, that means the color of my face became red because of the shame. So blushed means I blushed, मैं शर्मिंदा हो गया. And how frightened I was, कितना मैं डरा हुआ था. But nothing happened, कुछ नहीं हुआ. क्यों? मिस्टर हैमिल सैम सामी, मेरे उस्ताद मिस्टर हैमिल ने, इट वाज अ लास्ट लेसन, इट वाज हिज लास्ट क्लास. उसने मुझे देखा एंड सेड वेरी काइंडली. उसने मुझे बहुत ही अच्छे गुफ्तार अंदाज में कहा, गो टू यूर प्लेस क्विकली, अपने जगह पे जल्दी जाओ. लिटिल फ्रेंड्स, वी वर बिगनिंग विदाउट यू. आपके बगैर ही हम स्टार्ट करने ही जा रहे थे. सो आई वॉज लुकिंग फॉर यू. आप आए हैं इसलिए आप अपने क्लास में ठीक तरह से विद रेस्पेक्ट मुझे उसने कहा कि अपने क्लास में बैठिए, अपने डेस्क पे बैठिए. थैंक यू वेरी मच. इट वॉज टुडेज क्लास. अंडरस्टैंड किया होगा. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.